Hi everyone, it's Karen the Geordie Grandma. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like I should be starting this video with an angry face rather than a happy face because today's video is 7 things that make me angry, or 7 things that really annoy me. I'm actually going to put a photograph in here of my granddaughter doing an angry face because that's how I feel about most of these things. There's 7 of them, so I'm going to start from the one that makes me least angry and work down to the one that makes me most angry. Now the last 2, I had to think about it quite a lot to figure out which one made me most angry, so you'll see which one I picked as the one that made me most angry as I get there. So let's get started. By the way, I felt like I should use for this video my Witch's Brew cup from TK Maxx because it just seemed to go with the mood. So, starting at number 7, the first thing that makes me angry is couriers. Now, not that the fact that, they may deliver it late or they may chuck your parcels anyway, because I really haven't had a lot of that. What really makes me angry about couriers is when they either don't knock on your door or they knock on the door and leave straight away without waiting for you to answer the door. I've had, sorry, I've got itchy nose again. Seem to be getting that quite a lot lately. I've had it quite a lot where I've gone to the the front passage where my front door is, obviously, and there's been a card left. We called today and you weren't in, and you look at the time on it and it was like 10 minutes ago, or it was even an hour ago, and you think, I've been in the house all morning, I haven't been anywhere, you haven't knocked on the door. What's that about? It really, really frustrates me. I actually got to the door one day, the card was in the door, I seen they had just left it, I opened the door and I saw the guy walking away and I went, excuse me, you didn't knock on my door? And he went, oh, sorry. And I was just like, why? Why can't you just knock on the door and wait for the person to answer it? Don't just knock and think, oh, well, they're not standing right behind the door, they're not in, I'll just walk away. Infuriates us. So that's the first one. The next one, number 6, is staff smoking outside shop doorways. Now, it was a really good day when smoking was banned from pubs and shops and all that kind of place. I don't smoke myself, I've never smoked, so I welcomed that. But now, instead of the staff smoking wherever they would have smoked before, I'm assuming in a staff room maybe, you see them standing outside the front doors of the shops, smoking away on their tabs, as we call them up here. And it's just, it annoys us because you have to walk through the door and you're walking through that cloud of smoke. Pubs are worse because everybody's standing outside smoking. But shop doorways, I just think it gives a bad impression of the shop, and their staff are standing outside puffing away on a cigarette as customers are trying to get in there. Really bad. Any shop managers, if you're listening, stop your staff from doing that. It's terrible. Get somewhere else for them to do it. Number 5 is also to do with shop staff. Seems to be a few here with shop staff today. And that is sales assistants or retail assistants or whatever you want to call them now, talking to each other when they're supposed to be serving you. I don't know how many times I've stood at a shop counter waiting to be served while the member of staff is nattering away to our colleague, and you just think, can you see us? Am I invisible? Infuriating. I think there was one day I was stood there, I think it was Superdrug on Team Valley actually, Team Valley Gateshead, and I was stood waiting to be served. There was nobody in the shop. I think there was maybe one other customer. And I was stood waiting to be served, and she was talking away, and she had one of these headphone things on, but it didn't sound like she was talking to another member of staff. It sounded like she was talking to somebody outside of work because she was talking about her brother's driving lessons or something. Just talking away, and I'm standing there thinking, can you see us? I want serving. And she just put out a hand, I put the thing on the counter and she did the transaction while she was still talking, and then put the change in my hand, and I'm thinking, Really, that's the customer service we want to be known for in this country. I'm already got a big downer on customer service in this country, but shop staff talking to each other while they're serving you is just ignorant. And I've noticed that now in Aldi, oh, me cat's trying to knock over me tripod here. Milo, just stay still. Aldi staff have the headsets, so I'm assuming they can talk to managers and other people on the shop floor if they've got an issue or they want something or customer wants to exchange something, which is fair enough. That's a good idea. But not when they're talking to each other. You know, one member of staff on the till is talking to another member of staff on the till about what they did last night, about what they were drinking or, what party they'd been to. I'm not interested. I want you to serve us. I don't want you to be talking to your friends about what you've been up to while you're serving me. It lays itself open to far too many mistakes happening for a start, and it's just not good manners, is it? You wouldn't, if you stand with friends even, you wouldn't just ignore the person talking to you and talk to somebody else. Well, I hope you wouldn't anyway. So that was the third one, shop staff talking to each other. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these things I get angry about, because sometimes I don't know whether it's just me overreacting, but let us know what you think anyway. So the next one is also to do with shops, and this is mainly to do with supermarkets and mainly to do with Sainsbury's on Team Valley Gateshead, and that is constantly moving the products around. Now, I understand that, shop managers decide that they'll move products around because you do get comfortable when you go supermarket shopping, don't you? You go to the same aisles and you know exactly what you're going to pick up. So I understand that it is a marketing ploy. You go to where you would normally, go to buy, say, a bottle of tomato sauce, and there's something else in its place. And you might think, oh, I hadn't thought about buying that, and you might pick it up. I don't mind that. If it was once every 6 months they were moving their products around, that's fine. But in the last 6 months, Sainsbury's Team Valley have moved their products around at least once a week. And not just one aisle, I'd say a couple of aisles. They've moved the products around. So every time we go, I keep saying every time I go to Sainsbury's, I'm not shopping here again. And I keep going because it's close and it's easy. But I'm definitely going to start shopping at Aldi, I think. But they just, you go to look for something, like you go to look for the vegetarian products and the chilled aisles, and they moved them. And then the next week you'll go to where they moved them to, and you'll think, oh, I'm going for some sausages. They moved the sausages. They've left the rest of the vegetarian products, but they moved the sausages somewhere else. And you just think, why do you keep doing that? All it's doing is annoying us, really, really annoying us. And you ask a member of staff, where's such and such? And even the staff don't know where these things have been moved to. They've got to go and look, and you just think, well, I could have done that myself. If I ask a member of staff where a product is, they should know where that product is. Do you not agree? Do you find that in your local supermarket? Anybody from Sainsbury's is listening to this, please stop doing it. Highly annoying. So we're down to the 5th thing, which is, this is number 3 in my list from 7 to 1, if you were following that, is mobile phones. Now, yes, mobile phones are a good thing in some ways. I'm actually recording this video on my mobile phone. I do use my mobile phone. In some ways, they are good. But I think they have got to be one of the most annoying things ever developed in the last 10 years. I know they've been around longer than that, but, with the internet on them and all the social media sites, when we have a family get-together, so we've got my son and my daughter and their partners and the kids and me and Warren, and we usually congregate in the kitchen around the table, and there's at least 3 of them, mentioning no names, but you know who you are. 3 of them will be on their mobile phones. And it's like they're sitting there, you know, we're all trying to, you know, have a cup of tea or a drink and some food, and they're there like this. And you just think, get off your phone. I don't even think it. I say it. Please put the phone down at the dinner table. It bugs the hell out of us. I don't understand what people find to look at for the length of time that they're on their mobile phones. Yes, I do use my mobile phone. Yes, I do look at social media. I look at Instagram and I maybe spend probably not even 5 minutes, you know, scrolling through it. Although I did actually join TikTok recently, and I probably spent an hour the first time I was looking at it. I went down a rabbit hole, so I had to cut myself off from TikTok. But I'll wake up through the night, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll turn over and this light will be on next to us and Warren will be on his phone. And I think, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And then when his alarm goes off at 6 o'clock, he'll be like, I'm really tired, I didn't get much sleep, I was awake for 2 hours. And I'm like, yes, because you were on your phone. Don't pick your phone up. Infuriating. Just, you know, when you think about Christmases or family gatherings, go back, you know, 40 years, 50 years, if you're that old. People would be sitting around, they'd be chatting to each other, they'd maybe play a board game. I'm sounding like I'm from Little House on the Prairie here. Yes, I know. Sitting, you know, Pa was playing his violin, and no, it wasn't quite that long ago. But yeah, people were actually, you know, talking to each other and interacting with each other. And now, I would imagine in a lot of households on Christmas Day, everybody's sitting scrolling through their phones, and the kids are sitting on their switches. I think it's all wrong. I think mobile phones should be banned between certain hours in the house. Definitely banned at the dinner table. And mobile phones on, really getting into me rant now, mobile phones on public transport. When people are having phone calls and they're really loud. I was once on a train, and this woman was sitting in the aisle opposite, a little bit further down, and she was one of these women who are really loud, and she was on her mobile phone, and she was obviously talking to her boyfriend. There was a whole conversation, went on for about half an hour, and towards the end of the conversation, you heard this was a silence, and then it was, well, should we get married? I'm just thinking to myself, what? It sounded like she had just proposed to her boyfriend on her mobile phone on a train. Just weird, so weird. And recently I was on a bus, and I think I was coming from work or something, and it was pretty crowded, the bus, and there was this lad. I was sitting on a side seat, and there was this lad standing like opposite us. And he talked on his phone the whole bus journey, the whole time I was on the bus. And he was talking about a party he'd been to the previous night. And I learned all about what his friends were called, who had been at this party, what people were doing at this party. And it's like, did I really want this conversation, you know, on the way home on the bus? But then I thought to myself, maybe it's because I couldn't hear the other side of the conversation that I was getting angry. I wanted to hear the whole conversation. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to have a really loud conversation with someone on public transport? I just don't get it. So mobile phones definitely make me angry. So we're getting down to the final 2 here, and I couldn't decide between these last 2 which one annoyed me more. So I put this one at the number 2 spot, and that is cars parking on pavements. Drives me mad, really does. No pun intended there. I'm just going to have a swig of my coffee because my mouth's going dry. Yeah, cars parking on pavements. Where I live on a council estate, and across the road is another council estate. And I understand the council estates, well, the one I live on especially, has been around for, you know, probably about 50 years, since this, maybe a bit longer, since the 60s. And when council houses were built then, most people who lived on council estates wouldn't have had a car. So there was little need for every house to have a garage. So what I've found on our estate is none of the houses actually have a garage attached to them, and 90% of the streets, as you would call them on our estate, they've got like a pathway or a back lane, and you can't actually get your car to outside your house. So they've got little car parks at the end of each street, as you would call them. They're not really streets, but you know what I mean. So what tends to happen is there's too many cars for the spaces there is, so the cars park on the paths. So basically, you know, if you're going out early in the morning before people have moved their cars, you can't even walk on the pavement because there's a car on it, a half on it. So you either have to veer and walk on the grass, which is, you know, sometimes wet and muddy and you might not want to spoil your shoes, or you have to walk on the road, take your life in your hand. And if you're pushing a buggy or you're in a wheelchair, you would have no chance of getting past these cars. And it just really, really annoys us, because it's not just on the estate. It's you know, roads everywhere. You see cars parked half on the path, and the paths aren't that wide. So there's just not enough room for people to, you know, get past. You're having to kind of squeeze past. And some of these cars are parking on the path because they're just lazy and they can't be bothered to walk to their, you know, walk to their door from wherever they should be parking. Or they don't want to get their, you know, their car scratched by leaving it on the road. They don't want to get another car passing it and scratching it. Well, I don't particularly want to squeeze past a car and get all me clothes dirty and things like that. So cars parking on pavements do really annoy us. Let us know in the comments below what you think about that, because I don't drive. I don't have a driving licence. I did have lessons when I was about 17 and I just wasn't suited to it. So I've just never driven. So let me know what you think about cars parking on pavements. I know Warren does it, you know, when we can't find a parking space, you know, at the end of our lane. He parks half on a path, or he'll park on the grass. It annoys us when we're driving and I see a row of cars parked on paths. I go clamp, 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 because, you know, I would clamp them all. But maybe that, you know, if you've parked on a path, you've got a good reason for it. So let us know if you did. And my number one pet hate that really, really, really bugs me to hell is the news. Oh, the news. Where do I start? Warren likes to watch the news on a morning when when he's having his breakfast before he goes to work. He likes to watch the news. So it's usually on for at least half an hour in our house on a morning. And I've found that I'm getting more and more annoyed with it. It started probably during COVID, you know, when they used to have the nightly briefings and things. And you'd get like an hour of the news before the briefing would be pure speculation about what the briefing was going to be about. They'd talk about what they thought Boris was going to say. And then, of course, they'd talk about it afterwards. But it's like, that's not news, that's speculation. Why don't you just wait until the actual briefing starts and then you don't have to speculate afterwards because you know what he's going to say. And I find a lot, I watch mainly BBC Breakfast News, and I find that is mostly speculation. I mean, let's face it, there was something I was watching, it was a couple of weeks ago now. It was when Boris was doing his final speech, you know, when he was leaving Downing Street, and they must have like I say, usually have it on for a half an hour, so the cameras were kind of there and the presenters were there at least half an hour before Boris was coming out to give his speech, and this presenter was standing there, and they speculate about what he's going to say and how rubbish he's been and all that. That's not news, that's speculation. But he then said, look, there's the piece of sticky tape on the ground where they're going to place the lectern. Honestly, did anybody see that? That is the piece of sticky tape on the ground where they're going to place the lectern where Boris is going to give his speech. Is that news? Seriously? I mean, my God, that makes me so angry. It really does make me angry. And they're just filling the time, you know, talking rubbish. Why can't they fill that time with something that's more important? I'm sure they can find something to fill those, you know, those 10-minute spaces. They've got enough 10-minute spaces of rubbish on the news. I think the other day there was something, oh, coming up at 8:10, we think Adele's getting married again. That's not news. I don't care if Adele's getting married again. I really don't. It's just annoying. And relax, Karen. So my number one pet hate, the one thing that really, really, really makes me angry is the news, and in particular BBC Breakfast. Maybe I should just not watch it. So when Warren's having his breakfast and watching the news, I should maybe go do something else. I think that's probably a good idea. So those were the 7 things that really annoy me. There's probably quite a few more things that really annoy me, but those were the 7 things that just really jumped out at us when I decided to do this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found that interesting. Like I said, if there's any of these things make you annoyed, or if there's anything else that makes you angry, tell us in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. You know, it does help boost me on YouTube. Coming up in my next few videos, I've got a Looky-Roo personal shopper try-on review haul. I'm also going to do a video on why I decided to let my hair go grey and talk about some products that I use on it. Somebody did ask me if I would do that, so I shall do that video. I think that's all I've got planned at the moment. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again really soon. So bye for now.